I'd like to call to order the Oregon City Regular Council meeting, February 9th, 2026. The time is 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Snyder, please take roll call of the council members.
Mrs. Ackerman? Here. Mr. Andrus? Mr. Drake?
Here.
Mr. Gibbs?
Here.
Mr. Horniak?
Here.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Here.
Mr. Walnzak?
Here.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council, just for the record, I did get a call from Mr. Andrus. He is unable to attend tonight due to a work conflict. Do I have a motion to excuse his absence?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pauloff,
so moved.
thank you. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Walnzak. Thank you, Mr. Walnzak. Does anyone have any objections? No objections, he's excused. Thank you. Also joining us tonight is Mayor Solander, Acting City Administrator Paul Roman, Clerk of Council Josette Snyder, Acting Law Director China Pfeiffer, Finance Director Nick Roman, Chief Began, Police, Chief Spangler, Police, Chief O'Brien, Fire Chief, Chief Mullins, also in attendance. Mr. Schrake's not here. Orton, okay? Okay. Okay, Mr. Schultz, I'm sorry. Rodney Schultz, Public Service Director. Next order of business is to approve the minutes from the January 2026 regular meeting and the February 2nd, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Gibbs,
I move that we approve the minutes from the January 26th?
26,
Yeah.
yep, and February.
Regular council meeting and the February 2nd, 2026 Committee of the Whole meeting.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Is there a second? Second, Mr. Walnzak, thank you. Does anyone have any objections? Meeting minutes are accepted. Next up, we have persons to speak. Please, when I call your name, when you come up, please state your name and address for the record, please. And one last thing, I know before we get started, please keep sidebars. Please don't have those. We don't want to mock anybody. Whether you agree or disagree with people, everybody has a right to their opinion. So I don't want anybody to feel bombarded by whatever. Let's be kind to each other and we'll have a good meeting. And first up, we have Nathan Race. Mr. Race.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, council members. My name's Nathan Race. I live at 818 Athens Road, Oregon, Ohio, 43616. And I'm proud to be an IBEW 8 union electrician. I'm raising my child here in Oregon with my union pay. This extension means the project will be done right, and I support it. I ask that you all vote yes, and I'm proud to see my brothers and sisters building this for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Race. Next up is Jared Eversole.
Jared Eversole, 3713 Lily Drive, Oregon, Ohio. I'm also a proud member of the IBEW Local 8, and I am raising a family here with my union pay. And I do think the extension is a good thing, so we know the job is going to be done right. And I fully support it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eversole. Next, Joe Upham. Mr. Upham.
Thank you, Mr. Drake. Thank you, Council. My name is Joe Upham. I live at 539 Ansonia, Oregon, Ohio, 43616. I also support it to give the extension for it, to make sure it's done right. I am a union iron worker of 28 years. I've raised my family here in Oregon with my hard-earned tax dollars. I really do support this project. I believe Oregon needs this project to move forward in the way we want to go, in the direction we need to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Upham. Next is Jim Davis. Mr. Davis.
I guess I'll be a little bit longer. Jim Davis, 5494 Bay Shore Road, Oregon, Ohio. Good evening. Tonight, I would like to address the events of last week's committee meeting. In discussions, Mr. Roman has equated a request for a 6-month delay to a moratorium. It is not. In a recent vote, Maumee City Council enacted a 12-month moratorium to study the impact of the data center in their community. The plan is to form a committee composed of citizens and council members from both sides of the issue to work on and issue a report with recommendations during this period. At this point, there is no such effort currently being discussed here in Oregon. Rather, Capacity is requesting an amendment to keep the current contract terms in force with no such discussions planned. In fact, assuming their efforts are completed in less than 6 months, they conceivably could proceed at that time regardless of the 6-month time frame. Mr. Will Turner addressed this council with a number of issues related to the load study that was apparently completed in December. While we do not know the contents of this report, we can surmise that it did not yield the results that Mr. Turner had hoped for. Mr. Turner has requested 4 additional city-owned property on Windscape Drive with the anticipation that additional parcels will be purchased from private owners as well. This request raises a number of important issues. First of all, I would argue that Mr. Wallensack should recuse himself from voting on this and any future ordinances involving any properties on Windscape Drive, as the outcome will directly impact the value of the property that he currently owns. Secondly, as Mr. Turner has alluded to, Capacity's plans involve the closure of Windscape Drive, which affects the issue of zoning and access to other properties that the city has already committed for the future Clean Power 2 facility. Do not know the reasons for this request, but one would suspect that something has changed as a result of the load study that would jeopardize this project's viability for the end user. Once again, the citizens of Oregon are being left out of the reason for these changes. Thirdly, this proposed ordinance bundles several issues together that should be treated as separate issues. The purchase of these properties and potentially others is too important an issue to be bundled with the other issues and should be held as a separate vote. If I were a suspicious person, I would suspect this was done on purpose, as well as enacting it as an emergency measure with no clear need for urgency. At any rate, I would urge the council members to reject the ordinance as written or table it for further discussions among council. Lastly, it is no coincidence that several people in attendance at last week's meeting were present. I could have called out the representatives from Rudolph Libby, Lathrop, the OEDF, and the Regional Growth Partnerships, all who have significant financial interest in this project going forward. Once again, I feel the citizens of Oregon are being left in the dark and things are moving forward behind the scenes that are purposely being kept from us. Other communities in the area are speaking out against these projects, and I believe that these entities view the city of Oregon as a wedge that they can use to force these massive projects into our communities against the wishes of our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Next is Laura Davis.
Laura Davis, 5494 Bay Shore Road. Tonight
Okay,
there.
hang on a minute. You guys are good? Okay, go ahead, Ms. Davis, thank you.
Tonight there is a very important vote regarding the data center. The ordinance, as it was written, is lumped many issues together and declared it an emergency. It was presented as a compromise for asking for a moratorium. However, All of the other issues included should be separated and considered individually. If the vote is tabled or voted no, there will be time to reconsider. Bowling Green, Holland, Sylvania, Maumee, Perrysburg, and Waterville have all implemented moratoriums for data center construction. The regional awareness has increased as many other communities have researched and expressed opposition to having a data center in their communities. There is no need to again go over the reasons why we do not want a data center. The negatives are out there, and more people are becoming knowledgeable. About a year ago, there was a quiet buzz about a proposed data center in Oregon. Most residents had no idea about what was going on behind the scenes. Neighbors of the data center site were contacted about selling their property so that a huge complex could invade our quiet, family-oriented community. It was presented then to Mayor Mike Safarian and passed council as a fix-all for the dire straits situation in the city and schools. We will give you millions of dollars for the city and the schools in exchange for a tax abatement, they said. We have found in our research that this is how they approach communities. An NDA is signed and only a few know of the plans. This plan of attack on communities is no longer working. The public is more aware. Every day there is a news story regarding data centers and community opposition. Even on the national news, there are stories about data centers. I will play a video from our Ohio governor regarding the data centers at the end of my speech. The awareness soon became a concern for many Oregon residents. A group of concerned citizens formed a coalition called United Neighbors of Oregon, also known as UNO. Our mission is to bring public awareness to the issues involving the city of Oregon. Some information I found today is that there are 217 data centers in Ohio, which is the fifth most of any state. Columbus is top in Ohio with 113 data centers. Yes, I found this information on Google and AI. It was all easily accessible without a data center in Oregon. So here we are tonight facing this very important vote. I am asking the council to consider the public opposition. You are also citizens as well as council members. What do you want for your community? We hope you will not let pure intimidation influence your decision. Some may be thinking, if we vote no, they win. Although our group is hoping for an end to this project, we are not bullying or trying to coerce anyone. We are just speaking our heartfelt opposition and really hoping to be heard. It's not over and it's not too late to back out of this deal. There is also the option of voting for a moratorium to form a committee, such as the one in Maumee. There is no emergency here. Also, there's a council member missing that would affect this vote, so I think it should be tabled. I'll play my video. It's kind of hard to hear.
Commission to study the pros and cons of them. We have to watch this. Governor Mike DeWine told us the state needs to closely monitor the impact of data centers, and communities need to have a say. They don't want data center near them, and that's what the consensus of the community is, and that's the way it should work out. This week, Maumee became the...
So of all you here, how many actually live in Oregon? And all of you here, who is against the data center? Hold up your signs. So if a city doesn't want a data center, they should not have a data center.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Next up is Paul Sly. Mr. Sly.
My name is Paul Sly. I'm at 547 Oregon, Ohio. It will become painfully clear very quickly that I'm not a public speaker, but I hope I can convey to you my feelings. First of all, I'd like to commend the UNO organization for being very well organized. However, I do not believe they represent the majority of people in Oregon. Oregon has a population of about 20,000 people. According to their group, they're somewhere well under 1,000. So if you look around Oregon, you'll see that there are a few signs saying they're opposed to the data center. However, you'll find most yards have nothing that would indicate as such. So I think the people of Oregon have made it very clear that they are in favor of this. Will it have negative impacts? Of course it will. I live on Wind Road myself. It will be a inconvenience to have the traffic going by, but it is what we all need to do for progress. It will always be in somebody's backyard. Somebody will always be opposed to it for that reason. But I think you've all done your due diligence. You've looked and researched through this. You've indicated, for the most part, that you believe in this, and I support that feeling. I support the data center. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sly. Next is Jerry Vasco.
Jerry Vasco, 1825 Sugar Bush Road, Oregon. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. My name's Jerry Vasco, and I spoke at the council meeting on August 25th when the zoning changes were being considered for the proposed data center properties. For those of you who are not in attendance or may have forgotten, I am a retired member of IBEW Local 8, where my area of expertise was computer networking. I also held an RCDD license to design, specify, and install computer networks, including several data centers. I am once again here to offer an industry expert's insight into the misnomers and misinformation circulating around a data center. I monitor several Oregon community social media pages, and I am at once both amused and perplexed at the amount of keyboard warriors and data center experts that came out of the woodwork when the announcement was made proposing the data center. Those experts are still among us. I'm curious as to how many Oregon residents were surprised that the data center was not on the ballot this past November, and furthermore, how many placed a write-in vote for a no on a data center. One can't help but notice the amount of no data center yard signs that popped up around town. I've made it a point to inquire with both friends and neighbors, and even complete strangers, as to what they are actually opposed to. In most cases, I get canned responses like, well, I heard that it's bad, or, well, I read online that. And most people that attempt to actually answer my question immediately go to the old standards of an increased electric bill and Lake Erie's going to run out of water. The former is indirectly attributable to the data center, and the latter is blatantly false. Will the electric bills increase? Absolutely. Electric rates will increase regardless of if the data center is built here or anywhere else. Some of the increase can be attributed to the former Ohio Speaker of the House of Representatives, Larry Householder, and First Energy's ability to pass their fines on to we, the consumers. As for the water issue, it has been laboriously addressed numerous times, but some people believe that the internet experts are more important than facts and datum. The building of a data center takes a specific skill set that is both labor-intensive and highly technical. This work cannot be performed by just anyone off the street. Union labor, and specifically local electricians and technicians, are uniquely positioned to perform this exact type of work. My union sisters and brothers have proven this time and again with many projects in and around Oregon. The list of extremely satisfied customers include, but are not limited to, Synovus and Toledo Refining Company, Walleye Power, Cleveland Cliffs, Oregon Clean Energy, Davis-Besse, Fermi 2, and the list goes on. In order to continue to elevate the city of Oregon, we need to support this developer and facilitate the successful implementation of this data center. Internet hysterics and misleading information should not replace empirical data and facts. Everyone likes to embrace new technologies, and in general, everyone should enjoy prosperity and growth in the area. Technology is the reason that you enjoy one-click shopping or immediate answers to almost any inquiry that you may have. This technology that was not available even a few short years ago. With the budding advent of artificial intelligence, the need for facilities like this is even greater. The not in my backyard mentality is both defeatist and unfounded. If not there, where? I've heard people feign concern and make unfounded claims that the data center will be detrimental to the environment. Yet we have 2 refineries, 2 power generating plants, and a methanol plant where there once stood a beautiful berry farm, but I've heard no such outrage when they are operating. Oregon is uniquely situated to provide all the utilities required to operate a facility like this. We have to consider what there is to gain in the way of tax revenue instead of dwelling on this progress as an arbiter of negative change. As a matter of fact, it's an excellent time to rekindle the conversation surrounding the construction of Oregon Clean Energy Number 2. We need to stay ahead of the increasing demand for forward progress, lest we end up in a state of utility shambles like Texas, for example. I thank you once again for your time and the opportunity to convey my viewpoint, And if you are opposed to this facility, I hope that I have given you some food for thought and perhaps change your minds. Data centers are still not your enemy.
Thank you, Mr. Vasco. Next is Danny. It ends in ski. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Council. I'm Danny D. Markowski. My address is 4360 County Road 20, Archbold, Ohio. And I am here as an employer of many iron workers that live right in the city of Oregon. So we have people traveling all over the state right now, even over to Indiana, other states as well, that live here. And they're having to go to other places that have built data centers, have built other large facilities for work. They're out of town, they're away from their families, their money is leaving the city of Oregon, it's leaving Lucas County, and it's leaving their home area. So I want to speak on their behalf. We need these projects here, and we need them soon. Work's drying up here. We've got some, but this is really important to not just us as a company, not just the city of Oregon, but to iron workers, electricians. You see a lot of them here that rely on local projects to not be traveling all the time. Also want to speak to other things that matter to our employees and to the members of both Ironworkers Local 55, and I assume the electricians as well. I'm a trustee on our pension fund, and we are reliant on man hours coming into our fund to be able to fund the retirement of local individuals. And so that's a burden that I think all of us bear, is to make sure the work is there and that we're going after it so that the members can have a stable and secure retirement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Domowski. Next is Winona Nutter.
You got it right this time.
I got it right for once. Chalk it up. Might be the last one.
Winona Nutter, 4454 Bayshore Road, Oregon, Ohio, 43616. I've been asked to read this from the Oregon Community site from Tom Howard, was writing it, posted on Sunday, 2/8/26. As the February 2nd committee meeting, Mr. Turner shifted the project description from large co-location provider, as stated in city documents, to a single-user generative AI data center, a significant change that was not explained. What this all adds up to. Tonight's vote is being framed as a routine amendment, a timeline extension, and a few extra acres. But in context, it's much more than that. The load study exposed a fundamental problem. The developer's timeline and First Energy's timeline do not match up by 2.5 years. That's not a minor detail. It means the project, as originally pitched, may not be physically deliverable on anything close to the original schedule. The project description keeps changing. It started as a co-location provider, then became a single-user generative AI data center, and the marketing materials advertise up to 828 megawatts of on-site gas generation, and the residents still do not know who the end user is. The city is in a leadership transition. The administrator who built this deal is gone. Our mayor is new. One council member's appointment is being challenged in court, and the city is being asked to expand the project's footprint during this period of instability. Bundling and emergency designation compressed public input. 6 separate decisions: timeline extension, new contingency, 4 property transfers, price increase, site plan requirement, and implicit road vacation are being packed into one vote with no 30-day review period. No economic development agreement exists yet. The community still has no enforceable document spelling out tax sharing, job commitments, water limits, noise controls, or decommissioning obligations. Giving the developer more land and more time before that agreement is in place gives away leverage for nothing in return. Mayor Salinger's own stated principles are being tested. He campaigned on transparency, NDA reform, no expansion west of Wynn Road, and community involvement. Tonight is where these principles will either hold or fold. A little bit more. This project will outlive every person in the room tonight, every acre transferred, every road vacated, every contingency extended makes it harder to change course later on. The community's leverage is at its peak right now, before the EDA is signed, before permits are issued, before constructions begin. Please use it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Nutter. Next up is Dr. Jim Fritz. Mr. Fritz.
Thank you. Jim Fritz, here on behalf of the Oregon City Schools at 5721 Seaman Street, Oregon, Ohio 43616. Thank you, council. Thank you to the mayor. Thank you, everyone who's here tonight. Appreciate that. I'm going to read mostly from a letter that I sent on behalf of the Oregon City Schools to council members last week. Oregon City Schools want to express our support for extending the land purchase agreement with the developer of the proposed data center project an additional 6 months. As a school district, we deeply are invested in the long-term vitality of our community, the school district, and the city. The data center project represents a significant opportunity, not only in terms of economic development, but also in the potential for expanded tax revenue that directly supports our students, our staff, and the educational programs that define our district. We further support this extension and potential opportunity because it has the ability to lessen future increases in taxes to local property owners. Projects of this scale and complexity often require additional time to complete due diligence, finalize planning, and navigate regulatory processes. Providing this extension ensures the developer can continue moving forward responsibly and deliberately, along with City Council and the city. From the district's perspective, granting this extension is clearly in the best interest of both the community and our schools. Potential benefits of this project, job creation, increased tax base, and strengthening infrastructure align with our shared vision for a thriving Oregon. We believe that allowing the developer the necessary time to complete their work increases the likelihood of a successful project that will serve our residents for decades to come. We appreciate the City Council's thoughtful consideration of this matter and your ongoing partnership in supporting initiatives that enhance the quality of life and educational opportunities in Oregon. Oregon City Schools stands ready to collaborate in any way that supports the continued progress of this project. Thank you for your leadership and your commitment to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fritz. Next is Tom Woodrum. Mr. Woodrum.
Thank you. Tom Woodrum, 3903 Seaman, Oregon, Ohio. I am not a public speaker either, so bear with me. A couple weeks ago, we had the pleasure of listening to the mayor at a meeting that I was at, and he told us some things. Obviously, the data center came up, and he talked about, there were questions about how much impact it would have financially for the city, and obviously he said he couldn't answer those questions because those weren't in front of him, or he didn't have that information or couldn't share it. But he did share the information that if it did not come in, and it was pretty dire. So, look, I don't want to be here. I go to the polls, I vote, and I expect you people to do what's best for our city. Keep our taxes down, do what's best for our city. The majority of the people in this city are for this data center. Believe me, I've talked to a lot of people. I've tried to educate myself. So please, extend this, get this project done, and let's move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Woodrum. Thank you, Mr. Woodrum. Next is James Phillips.
Jim Phillips, 3432 Fieldbrook Lane, Oregon, Ohio, 43616. First, I'd like to express my appreciation for the opportunity to speak. I know your guys' job is uber difficult in a situation like this that's very contentious, obviously, and probably one of the biggest votes that you guys will have in your careers up here, whether it's your first year or your last. Dr. Fritz did a great job of, kind of outlining the school's perspective, so I'm not going to touch on too much of that. From my perspective and why I'm up here speaking tonight, I'm a third-generation Oregon person. My grandpa still lives in Oregon. My parents still live in Oregon. Went through the school system. I coach. I coach at the youth level and the high school level. This community is very important to me, and this vote is very important to me. Looking at how there are a few priorities that I think should matter to everybody in this room, regardless of age or socioeconomic status. A well-rounded K-12 education for all students in Oregon, strong property values across the board, and a city that takes care of its citizens' needs. The data center will provide security for all three of these to continue for the next 30 years. And once again, not everybody has to agree on these things, but in the same token, the money's going to come one way or the other, whether it's through levies or other ways. These results will show up in faltering school districts, revenues from the state not being able to pass, or revenues from state being reduced, not being able to pass a levy, which will lead to reduced student services, including extracurriculars. This in turn will negatively affect property values in Oregon, across the board, and finally a city that cannot maintain the high quality of services we are accustomed to experiencing here. The vote tonight really boils down to progress versus regress and answers one important question: what kind of community and what kind of schools do we want to leave for our children? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Next is Dean Monsky.
Dean Monsky, 2 Maritime Plaza, Toledo, Ohio, 43604. I'm the president and CEO of the Regional Growth Partnership, and just for the record, the Regional Growth Partnership gets no financial benefit in any way, shape, or form from this project. So I want to make that clear, since that was stated earlier that we do. Let me first say what I think is really important here. What I think is really important is the citizens who get involved, I believe in my heart, truly want the best for this community. The people that are here that oppose a data center, I really do believe they think they're doing what's right and it's the best interest in this community. Unfortunately, much of that belief is based on misinformation that is on Facebook, that is on social media, that really has no reality to what the facts are of this specific situation. And a few examples I'd like to give to you. First of all, water. Water's been talked about a great deal, of millions of gallons a day, and we're going to drain the Great Lakes and some other crazy things. This specific project, and not projects of 20 years ago, 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, today's hyperscale data centers and the people that we're talking about that are going to build this, you're using, give or take, approximately 40,000 gallons a day. That's like 2 Hampton Inns that you have on Navarre Avenue. No one's protesting Hampton Inns because of that amount of water. So I think we really should at least put the water issue aside. Power's another huge one. What we're talking about here in Oregon, and in every single data center we're talking about in Northwest Ohio, is building a natural gas. Today, it's the cleanest fossil fuel we have as a bridge to the future, but building a $1 billion natural gas-fired power plant that will supply not just the energy for this data center, but more than that. So we're not taking energy off the grid, taking it from business, taking it from residents. We're adding electricity to the grid for this project. Farmland. I've been hearing a lot throughout Northwest Ohio. We're going to take all the farmland with these data centers. We've done the math. Maps are easy. Math is not difficult. There are today, or I should say, if we landed 10 of these largest ones there are, like Meta and Bowling Green, if we landed 10 of those in Northwest Ohio, it would take up 0.3% of the available farmland. So if we get 20 of them, we're still under 1%. So we'd have to have 30 of these just to say there's 1% of the farmland gone. So we're not really going to be taking up all the farmland. And the last thing I'd say is housing prices. That's become another thing that people say, my housing values are going to go down. I'm not going to quote individual studies, but what I will tell you, happy to share details with anyone at any time, the overwhelming majority of credible studies that have been done nationally will all tell you the price of homes go up, not down, that are closest to data centers. And there's reasons for that that make sense. Happy to share those at some other time. Financial benefits here in Oregon are undeniable. Give or take $18 million for the sale of the land alone. $20 million in payroll tax just during construction, and then approximately $20 million for 20 to 30 years for this community. That's hard to fight against. The lower job numbers talked about are absolutely a benefit. Think of a 2,000 person major manufacturing operation coming here to Oregon. Even if you get a bunch of taxes, you're going to spend a lot of those taxes on schools, housing, infrastructure, safety services to allow for those new residents. You are getting a win-win. You are getting incredible revenues for this project, yet you're not putting added stress on your current system. Also, additional high-tech jobs follow data centers every single time they're created, and we can always talk more about that. Here's the bottom line with 1 minute to go. These centers are going to be built somewhere. Whether you like that or not, they're going to happen because many communities do want them. The reality is we are all incredibly interconnected to each other. So if the people believe and are convinced that there's going to be downsides here, those downsides are going to come regardless. So I would hope they'd be the first ones in line to say we need one in our community to at least get the upside of the revenue so we can control the city and the future of your city with having those tax dollars to be able to help your residents to kind of get the amenities you want, to have the quality of life you're used to. And if you really want to stay rural, the best way to guarantee it is get a data center, which will allow you into the future to be very picky and choosy as to anything else that comes into your community. Again, happy to talk anytime to anyone else, council or citizens. And I really do want to say what others did. Thank you very much for doing this. I think the crowd has been fantastic. Thank you for the way you started out, President, of being respectful. So thank you for the time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Monsky. Next is Brian. That's it. You got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Brian Snagaki, 5432 Eagles Landing Drive. Got to think about it. I just moved here, so I'm new to the city, new to the area. And Mr. Vasco from Local 8, gentleman from Regional Growth Partners, made a lot of the points that I was going to talk about. So I won't get into a lot of that, but I'll talk about, I'm 40 years of experience in the engineering, manufacturing, specific electrical engineering area, adaptive engineering, additive manufacturing, very high-tech businesses. I was excited, very excited, when I started building here and heard that we were going to zone a portion of the area as advanced manufacturing. Coming from that field, it does bring a lot of growth, tax dollars, revenue into the city. So I think the point I'm going to make right now is, what is a data center? God, I've heard so much misconceptions out there. And I had this same talk with quite a few people. And the fire chief, Tony Parcelletti from Jerusalem, I sat down with him and he goes, I never heard it explained this way. He goes, that's great. A data center. So you have companies like Owens Corning, GM, Stellantis, ProMedica, Dana. They all had data centers within their physical. They're called on-prem computing centers. They're all moving away from those because they're not in the computer center business. They're in the manufacturing medical business. So what do? They go to what's called a colo location. They take their data center, they put it into another building hosted by Amazon Web Service, by Microsoft's Azure, and that's what these data centers are used for. Why do they do that? Economics of scale. They're taking what used to be a 50,000 or 60,000 square foot data center within their facility that's costing them people. They have to staff it. They have to staff it with security experts and things like that. When they move it into a data center, they can reduce all of those costs. It makes it more efficient for corporations to be profitable. And it also allows them, anybody who's been hacked, had their identity stolen, it allows for higher levels of security personnel to work within those facilities and make sure that all of our data is safe. Anybody here who has a smartphone, every time you take a photo on your smartphone, you send a text, that's going through a data center. Those are what those data centers are used for. I've heard some really strange things. We were talking about water consumption. I'm not going to bring that up. Power usage, I think Local 8 brought that up. I just want to say, when I was 40 years ago, when I started, I think we had a room about this size was the data center that I particularly used for our 5-man team of engineers designing electrical components. That same computing power now, whether you talk MFLOPS or TFLOPS, floating point operations per second, that's now in the palm of my hand on an iPhone. I have the same power as computers that would fill this room, consume the power of computers in this room. It's now on a little 1,000 milliwatt battery on your phone. So I did a talk about 35 years ago at a conference where I had a shoebox, and I said, this is a 80 gig hard drive. Or no, it wasn't even 80 gig, it was 80 meg hard drive. I said, in about 10 to 15 years, you're going to be able to have this in the palm of your hand. And now we're taking something that would have filled this entire room in storage. You can have it on a little USB thumb drive, 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte of storage. So electronics are getting smaller, they're getting more efficient, consuming less electricity, less water, and anyways, you get where I'm going from. Everything's getting more and more efficient. So when I hear water consumption, power consumption, that doesn't bother me so much. What bothers me is not having something like this locally and then using it as a tool to have additional advanced manufacturing companies coming into the area and providing the services that they need to make them more efficient. I think that's it. Everybody else covered it really well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan. Next is Craig Elbers.
Mayor Salander, President Drake, and Council, thank you for letting me speak this evening. Craig Albers, 4350. I represent the Economic Development Foundation. I'm the president there. I wanted to clear up Upterra and Will Turner have been very transparent. They've been very educational. I was here last week for the economic development meeting that happened right before the full meeting that we had last week. They did answer many questions. Mr. Turner did indicate, obviously, why he needed to purchase those additional properties in that area, because getting the load study back indicated that they would need more infrastructure, and then they would need more land to be able to put that infrastructure on. So they did clarify that information, contrary to what others have said earlier in this meeting. And Mr. Turner has also been very transparent, with the water usage, as well as being able to modify the plan to create buffers for noise and or visual disturbances that people are also concerned about. So those items he's willing to work, obviously, with the city to address. I believe Mr. Roman has said multiple times in many meetings I've been at that the city will have an opportunity to be able to determine what those limitations can be, and take that into consideration and work with the developer in developing a plan that is aesthetically pleasing, as well as addressing the noise and or visual components that residents are fearful of. And I think, we have to make sure that we are going to be able to work with this developer, because like many people have said, this is going to be built somewhere in our grid. The grid goes from New York all the way to Illinois. Somewhere in that grid, there's going to be a data center built, and your power bills will go up. You have nothing to offset it then if it's not in your community. You are going to need to potentially raise your taxes. Potentially, the school may have to put a levy on to be able to fund itself. I was at the the Maumee Bay Chamber of Commerce meeting, State of the Community. We had superintendents from the area speak. The state has taken $8 billion from public schools, and they funneled that in different directions and not to the public schools. The public schools are potentially in a financial crisis, and you are going to see coming up in, if not this spring, in the fall, many levies from schools because of those funding cuts. This project can help alleviate some of that. It can keep your school system strong. It can help not have to reduce programs for your kids. It can also help your city. And the urban blight that may occur over time, the city will be able to meet those resources. The fire department recently got a grant to hire more firemen, but that's not permanent funding. How are you going to be able to support that in the future? If the city can't pay for that, those resources may not be there for its residents and their ability to respond to your emergencies. This will help pay for that. I think all of those items need to be taken into consideration. Also, you know, there's the voice of the community. You did a comprehensive city plan, ask for feedback from the citizens. I was on that committee. Many of you were on that committee. And the overwhelming response from 1,000 residents of Oregon was they didn't want heavy industrial. They didn't want big smokestacks. What they said they wanted was actually something that looks a lot like a data center. Something that is not a big polluter, is you know, very appealing to the eye, and it can be, and creates a lot of revenue and jobs for the community. This data center is a generational job producer. You say, a lot of people said, oh, in 30 years, what are they going to do? They're not going to put billions and billions of dollars in this to just let it sit there and rot away. They're going to re-engineer it, they're going to update it, they're going to enhance it over time, and that's going to create more and more jobs for your electricians and union workers in this room. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Mr. Elders. Thank you. Next is Bud Graham. Mr. Graham.
Mr. Mayor, President Drake, and members of council. I too, like Mr. Phillips, want to give you a little history of our family. My mother and father moved to the city of Oregon in 1955 and raised all their children here in the city. I've raised my sons. We are now on our fourth generation. Fourth generation of with our grandchildren. And you know, the thing that you know, I've heard a lot of the comments tonight. A lot of them are to the point. There's a lot of good, positive points towards the data center. You know, we own a business in Oregon, started in 1968. We've been in the business. We have 130 employees. You know, a lot of the people that are for the data center, you know, that you probably have not heard from, and many of them that you have. I'm here tonight just to basically to say a few points that I have, and that's, you know, it's zoned. The property is zoned for that particular use. The project provides good jobs throughout our area during the entire project. It's good financially for the school districts. You know, we're a strong supporter of the school districts. it will bring a lot of good things to the district over time, hopefully save us from having to go to the ballot. And also, it's good for our city. We'll be able to add a lot of the services and improve on some of the cities that or the services that maybe, without the budget wouldn't allow. So our city has a unique opportunity here. It's like winning the lottery. You're in a situation where it's a once-in-a-lifetime deal that will take our city and the schools to the next level. So I encourage your full support to continue to move forward with this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. Next is Deborah Baker. Deb, you can use my mic. Yeah, I know you like to talk, so when you see this start blinking, that means stop, all right?
Okay, gentlemen. First off, I'd like to say something positive about the council and everything. I want to say thank you for everyone that's really gotten involved with the senior center. We appreciate it very much. Like to see your faces out there. And I think it helps the seniors to feel more connected with the city and get more information. They don't get out much, a lot of them don't, so I appreciate it. I have some questions, I guess. I want to start with that. Because I haven't been to the meetings, I have watched them, tried to watch them online. I'm not as educated as some of these people about all the ins and outs of a data center, but some of the questions I have are, did the load study fail? Let's just come out and say it. Did it or did it not fail? And if it did, is that why they're needing the contingency so they can do other things to pass that load study? Okay.
Mr. President, Deborah, so the load study was completed, but I think the biggest question in Will Turner's mind is, how quickly can they get the equipment to make the project work? So they need more time just to get the right size of equipment, get First Energy's blessing on whether that equipment will work, and then order it. A lot of people know that transformers have been the big thing that nobody has, and there's 3 to 4 year window to order them. So, and then it is just a question, First Energy no longer builds switch yards, so it's on the developer to do it. So part of their ask, and that's part of this amendment, is to buy more land. They are looking at Windscape, which is a small industrial park, to make that the switch yard. So that's what I brought up last week. So they need time, obviously, to buy properties, to work out what equipment they need and a schedule. And that's probably the biggest contingency request, was to get time to work out those details. So the load study's done, First Energy can provide the power and it'll work, but they need to know what does it take to get the equipment and what's the schedule to purchase it.
Okay, so this wasn't something they had already,
They had the load study as a contingency as a part of the original purchase agreement. And keep in mind, when I say purchase agreement, there is no purchase yet. Nothing happens until there's an economic development agreement. That's what I'm asking for to get to. But the point is, those contingencies were in there for them to figure out and do their due diligence. So the load study was just, hey, can First Energy provide the power? Even though they found that out in December, they still need to know, how quickly can they get the equipment to make this investment work? So that's their biggest concern.
okay. And then I see, they're wanting to purchase another 4 parcels or whatever. I know before we, as a city, had to pay for the money. Pay for the acreage. We had the $17 million that we had to pay up front to get hold of that other property. Are we now paying out the money to get the other parcels too?
Well, so Deborah, so the city spent about $8 million purchasing 176 acres, but the 6 acres that they want to buy, the city already owns through the foundation.
Okay.
They just happen to be in the Windscape area. So they were 6 acres to add to this 170 acres that was a part of the original purchase agreement. That's all it is. So it is just adding that amount, but we already own those properties. We already paid for those.
Okay, all right, thank you for answering that. And I guess I, as a citizen, my biggest question is, we've heard all this money, all this talk, all this money is coming into the city. We have no dollar amounts in our heads. I've talked to a lot of people in the city too. I mean, talked to people at the senior center, I've talked to other people. Everybody goes, we don't know how much money it's bringing. It's all, like, it's a mystery. And it's like, okay, so how can we say yes or no to something when we have no idea what we're talking about as far as finances? I mean, that's just something that I wanted to convey to you, that we don't know. And it's an NDA where you can't talk about it. We don't know, so we're suspicious. So, okay, sorry.
First of all, I love your questions.
Sorry.
No, you don't apologize for anything. There is no NDA for this project. There is no NDA. And the ask on this extension is to get to the economic development agreement. It is to work out what exactly are we gonna get? Now, we can project from other data center sites as to what they worked out in service payments in lieu of taxes. And, we know that we have a preliminary idea and a draft of what we think we should get, and we want to make sure that people are protected and that we get, obviously, it's something to make sure it's fair, and it involves all of us. So we can put into what we're asking for. Will Turner has taken what we're asking for and has given it to the end user, but that we have not gotten a response back. And we weren't going to get that response until we really get down to them doing their due diligence to see if what will work and what their timeline is and whether it'll all come together. Then it was to do the EDA, the Economic Development Agreement. So the extension that I'm asking for is just to get to that EDA. It's literally just to get to that point so we can discuss it. And that EDA, by the way, is an ordinance. It has to be passed by this council. If we vacate Windscape, the road, that is an ordinance by this council. To do service payments in lieu of taxes, that requires what's called a CRA, a Community Reinvestment Area. That's another ordinance, has to be passed by this council. So there's 3 other ordinances that still have to happen for anything to go through. No purchase is gonna happen until those 3 ordinances are passed. So it's really just this ask for this extension for them to do their due diligences. But I want to take advantage of it to have more public meetings to address it. It's once we get closer to the EDA, it is to have committee meetings to discuss it. Mrs. Nutter, was that correct? So she mentioned this Facebook post by Tom, I didn't catch his last name. He said, hey, you shouldn't do this if you're not an EDA. I totally agree with that. You shouldn't do it. The whole purpose of the extension is to get to the EDA. But when we talk about what we know from other sites, it's always, I think so far what we know is as they build each building and with time, those service payments increase with time. And I know that, Dean mentioned, 20 million, that's a real average number. But I can tell you that in the beginning, it's not that much, and then it increases with time. But even the first payment that we're looking at is more income tax than a factory with 2,000 jobs. I mean, and by the way, we're not building any infrastructure for this data center. That's the beauty to it.
Well, that's some of my concerns. Sorry, that's some of my concerns because I want this, obviously I want the schools to have money. Yeah. I mean, I want the kids to be, have the money to get the good education. I want our firefighters to be, funded. I don't want to have to worry about grants and worry if they're going to have firefighters every year. But I also worry about our community and our nature and the things that we're known for, being out by the lake. I don't want another big power plant. Yeah. I have to smell that stuff enough, and things like that. I don't want to hear constant buzzing. And I'm going to depend on you guys as a council because I can't get out and look at data centers and everything. And I voted you guys in, and it's your responsibility, I guess, I feel, to make sure that you're watching out for us, that you're, making sure that that's not going to be an issue we have to deal with, that you don't sit back and regret it in a year or 2. And I sit and watch, the other cities around us putting moratoriums on them. They don't want them. And I don't want us to be the guinea pig. I don't want us to go, oh crap, we should have done what they did, and, But then again, I don't want us to be the ones either that miss out and go, oh, we should have done it because now we are in dire straits at some point. Because I know with the government the way it is, it's taking back a lot of funding from states. So I know you guys got a big decision to make. I just wanted to set my opinion. I really want you to consider I don't want to lose our wetlands. Once they're gone, they're gone. We can't get them back, or not in our lifetime. And that's, okay, that's my concerns, and I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. Ms. Baker. Thank you, Deb. Next is Omar Smeedy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Omar Smeedy, 2949 Camelot. Before I go into what I was going to talk about, which was not the data center, I just wanted to say that it's really nice to see people here in this room. It's really amazing. Like, I'm sure this guy understands, and all of you understand. But anyways, so like, the one item that somebody brought something to my attention earlier, I was at we actually had our America 250 meeting today. There's city events, and we had a resolution. It was 079-2025. It was on April 14th, 2025. I'm sure you guys all remember that meeting. It was 3 hours long. We talked about roundabouts. Yeah, I remember it very well too, because I memed you guys the next day. That particular item, 079-2025, I don't remember what happened, but it was a resolution to put a 3% lodge tax on motels and hotels in Oregon. And as I recall, that resolution did pass, 5 yeas, 1 nay. Drake was missing. What it was we hired Shoemaker and Associates, it's a legal consulting firm, to approach the state about this tax for the city, to be able to enforce it on hotels. And actually, what I recall was we can actually, any city in Ohio can do up to 6%. But for some reason, 3% was the number here. And I don't know what happened with that. I don't know. I know we had that study, we hired that consulting firm, but what happened with it, I don't know. Steve, you supported it. I want to know if we can get it back on the docket this year.
Mr. President,
Mr. Nick Roman.
if I could, me and Councilman Walenzak actually met with Shoemaker. It was at the end of December to discuss this a little bit more. It's really important that we use the chamber to help with facilitating this hotel motel tax, because they're going to work with the hotels and make sure that they have an understanding of what is going to be coming, and that you have to create committees within it. When we talked last, we didn't have, the city administrator and the mayor were unable to make it to the meeting, but we went back and I discussed it with the mayor, and he is in favor of doing that. That's something that we're looking at bringing back. We do still have that agreement with Shoemaker. We paid out $15,000 of the $30,000 so far, so we do still have him to use when we do bring that forward, and that is absolutely something we would like to bring forward. There's a lot going on, and that's something that we want to get to, but it's not as simple as just bringing forward an ordinance and it just goes through. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that the chamber is going to be helping us with and that we're going to have to do internally. But that is absolutely something we'd like to do this year.
Thank you for your input. I really appreciate that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention real quick was, we have a big city administrator position opening. I'm sure you're taking applications possibly. I see you're filling in. My gut feeling, my personal feeling, I think you'd make a great city administrator. I suspect, my gut feeling is you're probably going to retire in a few years and that you're probably not going to take it. And so my personal opinion is that I would like to see Steve Shrake apply for the job if he is capable. I think he would be a great fit for it. And he knows Oregon very well. He knows the zoning. Nobody knows it better than him. I think he'd be a great fit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smeedy. At this time, if somebody would like, or anyone would like to, they forgot to sign up, you're more than welcome. Mr. Winkowski. Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, Mr. Mayor, Council. Scott Winkowski, 4244 Deer Run. I have 3 points. One, all of you are trusted. I will agree completely with what the lady said back there. Your vote matters. Your vote is going to make a difference on all of these things. And as a whole, the community trusts all of you for what you're about to do tonight. We may or may not like the outcome of some of the votes, but we all have placed you in that position of trust. And we're hoping that you do the best with what you do. I'm here as the chairman of the Planning Commission. Mr. Salander Mayor Salander is also on that. There are 5 of us. In 2 weeks from today, I will be presenting to you the comprehensive plan, which we have recommended be adopted by City Council. It will be here on February 23rd. I will be able to answer any questions and go through everything. It is a long document. I would hope that this many people will show up and question about it. We do not take a stance on the data center. We have changed the zoning to make it feasible that that area has a data center or has advanced manufacturing, as it's called, but we have not taken a stance within the comprehensive plan, and it is a very good document. There were a lot of very good Oregon people and community members and citizens that were part of that. The third thing that I would recommend or hope that would be recommended is that Mr. Drake, we would find a way tonight to honor and recognize Judge Alfonso Gonzalez, who passed away this past weekend. He was Lucas County Court of Common Pleas judge. He passed away over the weekend in Mexico with his family on vacation. I would hope that you would find a way to at least recognize him, knowing that the cameras may be on tonight. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Winkowski. Oh. One more. You got about 15 seconds, Mr. Newt. 15. You're at 13 now.
I want to thank everybody for coming. I'm not going to talk to those guys. September 22nd, 2025, I stood out in front of this building by myself, opposing data center. And everybody wants to know, why do you oppose it? They come to me and ask me why. Because I really truly believe that we live in a world where we chase dreams because it's on paper. None of this stuff has ever been proven. I want to know what city has come here, put their balance sheet on here and said, every day we make this amount of money, our government is happy. City of Oregon is a tourist town and you need to accept it. It's on Route 2 going to Point Place. It's got the best migration route in the world of all the birds that God made. But you know what? We like destroying that because we need money to raise our kids. Our electricians, our steel workers can all have jobs. That's all true. But once in a while, you got to stop and say no. And people are afraid to say no. This does not need to be in this community. This community brings people into the community because of birders. And they ain't coming in this community because of data centers. I don't care what anybody says. You show me any city that's coming in here, put that balance sheet on the paper and say we've been making money, leftover hands, and all of our babies and our kids are happy and our generations are happy. That is not going to happen. I don't care what anybody says. How do I know that? Because Pete Gerken is now asking for freaking money for 911 that he decided 4 years ago we're going to go to one building. 6 weeks after that man went to one building, they let me down. Big time. Boom! Somebody walked in my house and blew my wife away. 7 minutes somebody was on that phone with 911. Do I have any faith in people that put shit on paper? I don't. I'm sorry that I have to feel this way, but it's true. And You people need to start thinking about it, how you fix. Vote. Freaking vote for people. Voting in Northwest Ohio sucks. You put the same people in all the damn time. You wanna know why you got problems?
All right, thank you. Thanks, Newt, we appreciate it. Okay, at this time, okay, you got something, I'm sorry, ma'am. State your name and address, please.
My name is Annette Foster.
Okay, hang on a minute.
Pull that mic down.
Yeah.
At the top.
Yeah,
There you go.
hang on one second, all right, Ms. Foster. You ready? You're ready.
Hi, my name is Annette Foster. I live at 3310 Hazelton. I've been a resident for quite a few years. My children live here. My grandchildren now live here. I'm a proud member of Oregon. Thank you for letting me speak, and thank you, Council, for letting us be here today. I just wanted to say that I'm a residential real estate agent. I service Oregon and surrounding communities. I've talked to a lot of people in Oregon who are concerned about the data centers for the environmental, number one, because of the birds, like we talked about, and because of the wetlands, and because of the bees. They haven't done enough studies about the bees. We're concerned about the bees for the farming, and the heavy metals. So there's some things that haven't really been addressed that need to maybe looked into a little bit more for making sure we have all the facts. But one of my biggest concerns that I've talked to you about with buyers and sellers, because I service them on a daily, is I'm concerned about how the data center is going to affect my buyers and sellers. I counsel homeowners on value, protection, and resale potential, and the factors that influence purchase behavior. Based on the evidence I have, seriously concerns me regarding the effect on data centers development in the close proximity to established residential neighborhoods that may have proper marketability and owner equity. While I recognize the argument that these facilities can contribute to tax base, my professional responsibility requires me to focus on how buyers actually behave in real transactions. Purchasers do not make decisions based solely on economic development statistics. They react to what they actually see, hear, and fear. When a residential property is located near a large industrial scale structure, the following realities routinely arise during showings and negotiations. Buyers immediately question the noise from the cooling stations and the generator testing. They react to the visual impact of massive buildings and utility infrastructures and secure barriers. They worry about traffic, road wear, and construction disturbance. They ask about environmental effects, power demand, and the likelihood of future expansion. They may decide to wait, negotiate aggressively, or choose a different area entirely. This is not a theory, this is how transactions unfold in practice. Even if a project complies with engineering standards, perception directly affects demand, and demand determines value. A smaller buyer pool leads to longer term on market, increased price sensitivity, and pressure on the seller to provide concessions. For the families who already live in Oregon, their home is often their largest investment. Introducing an adjustment land use that creates uncertainty can materially alter future results outcome through no fault of the homeowner. I urge you all officials making this decision to consider us as homeowners. Also, I'm concerned about what's going to happen to our property value, to our environment, and to the people of Oregon. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Foster. At this time, I'd like to take about a 10-minute break, and everybody's welcome to stay. Other than that, we'll take a 10-minute break. Thank you. Buzz. Oh, yeah, that was his daughter.
I'll see you guys.
All right. Come back again. I won't be here next week. All right. Yeah.
Give me a number?
No. You're good. Right here, right? Okay. All right, moving along here. Next on the agenda is passage item 15 of 2026, being presented by Mr. Schultz. Mr. Schultz, do you have anything on it?
I have nothing more to add from last week unless anybody has any questions.
Okay. Council, is there any other questions on item 15 of 2026? Hearing none, I will assign item 15 of 2026 as ordinance 15 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Accepting the base bid plus Alternative A and Alternative B of Griffin Pavement Striping, 2710 Hayes Avenue, Fremont, Ohio, for furnishing labor, materials, and equipment for the LUC Bay Shore Road and Otter Creek Road roadway departure improvements, LUC MR 1790.0 Bay Shore Road Safety Project PID 123994, authorizing the Mayor, Director of Public Service, and Finance Director to enter into a contract with said contractor.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Gibbs,
I make the motion that we accept item number 0152026.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Poloff. Seconded by Mrs. Poloff. Ms. Snyder, please take roll call.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Poloff?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman? Yay. Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance 15 of 2026 does pass with a vote of six, I'm sorry, I can't count either. 6 yeas and 0 nays. Okay. Next on the agenda is passage item number 16 of 2026 being presented by Mr. Paul Roman. Is there anything you'd like to add, Mr. Roman?
Yeah, Mr. President, just one thing, and we did reach out to Palmer Energy, and they did give us a contact that anybody in the city can call to get information about the ag program for both natural gas and electric. And so we do have that name and contact on our website, but we are also planning to put it on the water bills as well, okay? So that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Roman. Councilor, is there any additional questions on item 16 of 2026? Hearing none, I will assign item 16 of 2026 as ordinance 16 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing the Mayor and Director of Finance to extend an agreement with Archer Energy to act as the city's natural gas aggregation supplier for the 12-month period beginning June 2026 to May of 2027 and declaring an emergency.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council.
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage. Well, prior to that, thank you, Mr. Roman, for doing that with the water bill and putting it on the website. I do move for passage of ordinance 16 of 2026 as an emergency measure.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Is there a second?
Mr. President.
Mr.
I'll
Gibbs.
second that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call of council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman? Yay. Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ordinance 16 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas, 0 nays. Next up's item 17 of 2026, presented by Mr. Roman. Mr. Roman, do you have anything to add? Okay. Council, are there any additional questions on item 17 of 2026? Hearing none, I will sign item 17 of 2026 as ordinance 17 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor and director of finance to enter into a customer supply agreement with Dynegy and Direct Energy for the provision of electric energy to residential and small commercial customers within the city of Oregon for a 25-month period beginning June 2026 through June 2028, declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 17 of 2026 as an emergency measure.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Walmzak, seconded by Mr. Walmzak. Motion made by Mr. Horniak, seconded by Mr. Walmzak. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call, council?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Walmzak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman? Yay. Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance 17 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas, 0 nays. Next is item 18 of 2026, being presented by Fire Chief Clayton O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to add.
Okay. Council, are there any additional questions on item 18 of 2026? Hearing none, I will sign item 18 of 2026 as ordinance 18 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing the fire department to apply for and accept a grant from Enbridge Pipeline for radio communications upgrade and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Ms. Pauloff.
I move for passage of ordinance 18 of 2026 as an emergency measure.
All right, thank you, Ms. Pauloff. Council, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Horniak. Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Motion made by Councilwoman Pauloff, seconded by Mr. Horniak. Ms. Snyder, please take roll call. Council.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman? Yay. Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mr. Walmzak?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ordinance 18 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas and 0 nays. Next item on the agenda is item 19 of 2026, being presented by Chief O'Brien. Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to add for the specific ordinance, but again, just want to express our gratitude to Synovus on the partnership on this program for the mini ambulance, and we truly do appreciate for such a good cause. So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Council, are there any additional questions on item 19 of 2026? Hearing none, Ms. Snyder, please read the record. I'm sorry.
Authorizing the mayor and finance director to issue a purchase order to Alternative Support Apparatus LLC ASAP 5609 Gundy Drive, Midvale, Ohio, for the purchase of an ASAP MedStat 500 UTV ambulance in the amount of $89,052 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Ms. Pauloff.
I move for passage of ordinance 19 of 2026 as an emergency measure.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Pauloff. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Horniak. Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call at council?
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman? Yay. Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mr. Walmzak?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ordinance 19 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas, 0 nays. Next on the agenda is passage item number 2026 being presented by Mr. Roman. Mr. Roman, would you like to add anything?
Yes, Mr. President.
All right, go ahead.
Just to answer some of the questions, I know Mr. Davis questioned the bundling of these contingencies and grouping it all together. They were a part of the original agreement. The pipeline contingency, the emission contingency, even the electric infrastructure is an extension of the original contingency for the load study. The idea of, I know the extension's not the same as moratorium. I know that, but I think at the same time, City of Maumee is not in the middle of a proposed project, which we have been into. I mean, there has been about 10 ordinances regarding this project that have passed by this council, and we're in this current discussion of whether we should proceed or not. And I did, provide an email to council earlier last week, and I just want to really emphasize this, and whether you are for this project or against the project, either one, all I'm asking is to get to the Economic Development Agreement, which does require an ordinance to pass. And keep in mind, this project agreement also involves the foundation, which is nonprofit, but is a part of this, and there are properties in their name, even though those properties were paid with city tax dollars. We spent $8 million on these properties, okay? Someone asked, well, why is this an emergency? Well, we spent $8 million on taxpayers' money on these properties as an investment. What we originally thought is we needed to do this to get jobs. And we were after a large project, which did have an NDA, the Blue Innovation Project. We can still talk about it to a degree. But it was 1,600 jobs. The idea with service payments. This pays way more revenue to both the schools and the city. We never thought it was possible that we could get service payments like the schools. It is possible. So, and the beauty with this project versus Blue Innovation, we would have had to widen every road around that entire site. This, we don't need to do that. There's no infrastructure that we have to provide for this project, and it provides way more revenue. But again, whether you believe it or not, I'm just asking, let us get to the Economic Development Agreement where we can at least discuss it. And I want to mention the city schools. They're very much a partner in this. In the actual purchase agreement, when you read the Economic Development Agreement, it is also going through the Oregon School District with their board approval as well. So they're very much a part of this, okay? And we're not in dire straits like it's been just discussed before. But I just want to remind you, and I remind council every year at budget of our needs for roads, okay? I also want to say, look, in October of this last fall, we did accept a SAFER grant to hire 9 firefighters. And they're needed. And I'm just saying that once you accept that SAFER grant pays for those 75% of that operating cost for the first year and the second year. The third year, it pays 25%. But after the third year, it's 100% on the city, okay? When we've discussed this in years past, and in particular, spring of '24, that's when we debated this. And if you think about it, I know we're looking at all kinds of alternatives to pay for it. But the number one alternative that stuck out was you should go after economic development, bring in new revenue before you go to the voters of Oregon. That's all we're trying to do here. All we're trying to do is get all the facts together so that we can make a decision. This extension, and it is my hope to have more public meetings. I'm planning to have more public meetings. You need them for this Economic Development Agreement. And all I'm saying is to at least get to that point where you can discuss it and have all the facts. The one item that I care a lot about is the preliminary site plan as a part of that Economic Development Agreement. Part of what we proposed is not, as much as looking at where their switch yard is going. It's also about possibly relocating Heckman Ditch, which is the ditch along Lynn Road, further from the road, to add buffer, to add mounds, to protect the residents that are right up against it. I do look at this like I'm the person across the street. What would I want to see? I want us to be strict on our noise code. There's a lot of things we need to do, but I'm just asking for more time. That's all I'm simply, there is still a lot more ordinances to follow. There's 3 more ordinances that are needed to have this actually go through. No purchase happens until all 3 ordinances are passed, and that's if they're passed. Okay? So that's my only ask, and I'm just asking for a passage. That's all I'm asking for. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Mr. Slender.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Mr. President. Thank you. The one thing I just want to request is, after further review of it as well, since even though we have 5 people that would be voting on this, I would like to remove the emergency clause from that and just do it as a standard clause to at least have the 30 days if it should pass.
Mr. President,
Mr.
Mayor,
Roman.
I do, so in the past, if you have an ordinance that's tagged as an emergency, if it only gets 4 votes, it still passes as a non-emergency. But if you want to be very specific, council could motion to amend the ordinance to remove the emergency clause, okay? And you vote on the amendment first, okay? You vote on the amendment first. That doesn't mean you're voting on the ordinance, you're just voting on the amendment. If that ordinance then is amended with that roll call, then you're voting on the ordinance amended, okay? So you can do that. Okay, but the council would have to motion for it, obviously.
Mr. President.
Mr. Horniak.
And if I could, so basically, once it was motioned and seconded, the amendment can be proposed, voted on, then it returns back to a vote on the original ordinance.
Well, no, it comes back, if it's opposed, yes, it comes back to the original ordinance. If it gets passed.
I'm sorry, comes back to the amended ordinance as amended. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, council, is there any additional questions?
Mr. President.
Mr. Gibbs.
Yeah, I have something here I'm gonna read. I know everybody's pressed for time. You know, I love America, as many of you do. I love that we can come together like this as citizens and speak freely without intimidation, that we can voice our concerns. I love that about America. And I just appreciate everybody coming out and doing that. Some are more passionate than others, you know, they get a little fired up, you know, and they're more passionate. And others just speak cordially and freely. I love that. Okay. Maybe you'll throw tomatoes at me after I read this, I don't know. I recently heard this song and it really touched my heart. Growing up and being the youngest of 5, and my 3 older brothers and sister having participated in sports and graduating from high school and leaving home to lead pretty successful lives. Myself, on the other hand, not measuring up to them, having been a part of the hippie generation and leaving high school without graduating, guess what I felt like? You guessed it, the black sheep of the family. Then after a few years, I became part of the Jesus Revolution. During the mid-70s, I found out how much Jesus loved me, and it did not matter that I was a black sheep. I share this tonight because I know there are others that feel this way, and they need to know that Jesus loves the black sheep. And if you haven't ever heard that song, Google it and listen to it, because it's very beautiful. Okay, now my wife always says, Paul, stay in your lane, don't chase rabbits. Okay? So here we are tonight with a very important matter at hand, a matter of great importance to our community as a whole, a matter that could be the cure for, as our former mayor used to say, the dire straits that we are in financially. There has been so much controversy surrounding this that it became part of the 2025 election. I talked with a large number of people, some in favor and some opposed. I sat in many meetings and heard many speculations on land and profits, promises of financial stability for our city and schools. At one meeting, I found out that it wasn't just 2,000 square feet building, it was 8 2,000 square feet buildings. I came up here afterward and I asked Josette, Did the mayor say 8 2,000 square foot buildings? Josette said, I think so, but I will check it and get back with you. Josette, being a person of due diligence, she went back and she reviewed it, and she sent me an email confirming that is what was said. Over the next 6 months, we have seen discrepancies and uncertainty since that day back in August. The town hall raised a lot of concerns, which to this day, I am not sure if they have been resolved. The latest being the results of the load study. Mr. President, do I have a time limit?
Yeah. No, you don't.
Okay, thank you, thank you. If not, I would like to continue with a conversation that I recently had with someone. This person asked me, what is the greatest motivator to get people to do what you want them to do? My reply being money. The Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evil. Wrong. Money in itself is a good means of exchange. It is not evil, just the love of it. Now, this person proceeds to tell me that the greatest motivator to get people to do what you want them to do is fear. Fear. Here's a classic example of that, the movie, It Is a Wonderful Life. Remember, Jimmy Stewart plays George Bailey. He's a banker that is faced with some very important financial challenges. He lives in a town that, for the most part, is run by a guy by the name of Old Man Potter. He invites George to a meeting and offers George a job to come and work for him. He gives George a huge cigar and offers him a very good salary, and George is overwhelmed by the offer. He tells Old Man Potter that he will have to think about it, and as he gets ready to leave, he shakes Old Man Potter's hand, and right away he pulls his hand back and realizes what he was doing is wrong. And he wipes his hand off and says, no way, you can keep all your money. Okay, time to get back in my lane. Here we are with this huge opportunity before us, a cure for our city and school woes. What we decide here today is going to affect our community for many years to come. As a person representing our city, I do not believe what I have witnessed since I have been elected will truly benefit our city unless there are more transparency and citizens' input. So I'll conclude with that. And I hope that as a council, we consider all the facts before us. Everybody's presented a lot of facts. There are a lot of facts concerning this. However, there's no actual promise of a return on our investment. A lot of speculation, okay? Back in 2000 during Y2K, what were we driven with? We were driven with fear. Hundreds of millions of dollars were pumped into businesses all over the nation, preparing for the great event, the turnover, okay? We were all fearful. The budget back then was $5.9 trillion. Today, we're nearing $39 trillion. All we get is promises that it's going to get better. And they just allow you to just dwell in fear, hoping that you'll vote the way they want you to. I'm not going to say any more. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Councilors, any other additional questions?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Ackerman?
do I have a time limit?
Yep, you got about,
Everybody, yes. No. I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention that hasn't been aware of it. House Bill 646 has been referred to the General Assembly of the State of Ohio. And I think, I'm usually the first person to say, if the government makes a committee, yeah, okay, no, not going to help. More bureaucracy. But I do believe this is in response to all of the pro and con of it. It seems to be very equal-sided. And so they're going to create a commission if this passes at the state level to it says, "This act is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, and safety." So we're not the only ones that throw emergency at legislation. The reason for such necessity is that data centers are proliferating rapidly in the absence of a specific regulatory structure or historical precedent, which is generating serious concerns among the citizens of this state and creating an unstable environment for local decision-making. Verifiable information is crucial to such citizens when facing new development within their communities and local political subdivisions tasked with approving such development, as well as investors who wish to site data centers throughout Ohio. Verifiable information benefits all concerned parties and is urgently needed due to the rapid development of this emerging technology and the lack of general knowledge concerning data centers in Ohio. And if it passes, it would go immediately into effect. But the gist of it, and this is the actual language from the state, that what it would look into is to have more public meetings, but it's going to look at environmental impact, effect on the electrical grid, including on behind the meter electric supply and on consumer utility rates, water usage and impact on the local water supply, noise pollution, light pollution, impact on the local economy, good and bad, look at all sides of it, impact on farmland, value to national security and the development of artificial intelligence, reports of foreign propaganda intended to create opposition to data centers, and any other relevant topics determined by the commission regarding data centers. I don't know how long how long it would take for that to pass. I'm glad to see the state being a little more proactive, and the commission would be made up of people who want data centers and people that do not want data centers, so that there could be that dialogue. I just want to make everyone aware of that House bill who hasn't heard about it. And what appealed to me about it is the main focus, at least the selling point of it, is to make sure citizens are not going to pay for what those businesses want. We keep hearing you're going to pay whether you do it or you don't do it. You're going to pay, you're going to pay. This is an opportunity for possibly that these businesses would pay their own way, and it wouldn't fall, that burden would not be placed on the taxpayers, on the citizens. So I just ask everybody, please keep following that at the state level, and you can get online and you can ask to be updated on that on a regular basis. So it is House Bill 646. So just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ackerman. Council, is there any more questions, additional?
Mr. President, I know you've heard enough of me,
Mr. Roman?
but I just want to comment on Mr. Gibbs' comments. And I understand the fear and the fear of fear. I think I'm asking to allow the extension to look at all the facts. But to say no to that is fear of what you may find in those facts. I'm just asking to put the facts together and put it before this body to review and approve. That's all I'm asking for. That's all this extension is. This isn't the approval of the data center. This is the approval for an extension to consider a data center. There's 3 more ordinances still required. There's a lot of requirements you can put in that economic development agreement that safeguards the public. That's for the public. That's for us to talk about. That's my ask. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roman. Last call, council. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I will sign item 2026 as ordinance 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor and finance director to amend the sales and purchase agreement with Capacity LLC, a Florida limited liability company, and Oregon on the Bay Regional Economic Development Foundation, and an Ohio Nonprofit Corporation Foundation for the purchase of extending the time period for the pipeline and emissions contingencies, adding new contingency for electric infrastructure, increasing the purchase price to include the purchase of 4 new properties located on Windscape Drive, and adding the requirement of a preliminary site plan to the Economic Development Agreement and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council,
Mr. President.
Mr. Mayor Slander.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. If someone from council would not mind making a motion to amend to remove the declaring an emergency, I would appreciate that. Okay, thank you, sir.
Being so ready, are you seeking a motion, Mr. President?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. President, I move for passage of ordinance 20 of 2026.
Okay.
Need a motion in a second, then you can amend.
Okay.
Second.
Second by, motion made by Mr. Horniak, second by Ms. Polliff.
Mr. President,
Yep, go ahead.
it would have to be a motion to amend removing the emergency.
I thought until you had the motion in the second, you didn't have an ordinance to amend.
I guess.
Because the discussion technically starts by Robert's rules after the motion in the second. That's when the consideration begins, and I believe that's when the amendment takes place. That's been my study of Robert's rule from when I sat in that chair.
Okay. We'll just see it play out. Thank you.
Okay. With that, Mr. President,
Go ahead, Mr. Horniak.
I would propose to amend ordinance 20 of 2026 to remove the emergency measure.
Okay.
No, this is the motion to amend, to remove the emergency
Amend.
clause. We're just amending right now.
I'm second to amend.
Okay, Mr. Horniak makes a motion. And Ms. Powell second, correct? Okay,
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Drake?
yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mr. Wallensack?
Abstain.
Okay. Passes 5 yeas to 1 nay, correct?
Mm-hmm, correct.
Okay.
One abstention.
One abstention, I'm sorry. Never did an abstention. Thank you. Okay,
You already have the motion. Mr. President, I would call for the question on the ordinance 20 of 26 as amended.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call?
No, it's already motioned and second.
I thought we did that.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Now, just to confirm, this is on the amended, not to amend, this is on the amended.
This is on the actual ordinance.
Okay. No.
Mr. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
No.
Mr. Wallensack?
Abstain.
Okay,
3 yeas,
3 yeas,
1 nay,
1 nay,
2 nays.
2 nays, I'm sorry, and 1 abstention. So it fails. Okay. Now what?
Question.
Okay, that's it for that.
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
if I may, I can somewhat try to answer the now what question. I would remind council, we do have an approved purchase agreement on record with them, which has been extended to March 31st.
Mr. Roman, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak. That is true. You still have till March 31st per the second amendment that was approved by this body. But I do know that this may not be enough time for Will Turner and their partners to make that decision. But you're right, that is correct. They have till March 31st.
Okay. Mayor's report?
Yep, okay, thank you. We'll move on to the mayor's report. Mr. Mayor Slander.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I do want to take a moment just to thank you all for being here. I do appreciate, as always, having community involvement and citizen involvement in this, so thank you for being here. Have a good night. Have a few appointments here and resignation, or actually I have resignation and retirement, a couple of retirements here. So we're going to start off with, I have asking council to concur with the resignation of Logan Nikowitz? Pardon me? Nikovich. His resignation effective February 6, 2025 at 1,600 hours. Council, seeking your concurrence.
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I concur with the mayor on acceptance of the resignation.
Okay,
Second.
second. Motion made by Mr. Horniak, seconded by Ms. Pauloff to accept the resignation. Council concurs. Do we have any objections? Hearing none, his resignation is accepted. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, council. On to the next one here, we have a retirement after many, many years of service as a working as an SRO and with the Oregon Police. This is retirement effective date of April 6, 2026, and this will be for Bradley Schusterman. Sorry. Council seeking your concurrence.
Okay. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move to accept I concur with the mayor's acceptance of the resignation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Pauloff. Mr. Horniak. We have concurrence for his retirement. Thank you. Any objections? Hearing none, it's accepted.
Thank you, council. Next here, we have a retirement from the police department after 25 years of service effective March 2nd, 2026. And this would be for Officer Sarah Shaw.
Council.
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I concur with the mayor's acceptance of the retirement of Sarah Shaw.
Okay. Council, is there a second? Second. Motion made by Mr. Horniak, second by Mrs. Pauloff. Thank you. Council, are there any objections? Hearing none, it's accepted.
Thank you. Thank you, council. Next, we're going on to the water plant. I'm sorry, I skipped one here. Let me come back. This is also the water department, though. This is a resignation as a position of meter reader for the water distribution department. This will be effective March 28th of 2026, and this will be for Robert Bartley.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilors, there's a motion.
I make a motion that we concur with the mayor.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Gibbs, seconded by Mr. Horniak. Council, are there any objections? Hearing none, the resignation is accepted as presented.
Thank you, council. Next, we are going on to the water department. This is an appointment, seasonal appointment request. It has been respectfully recommended that we reappoint Mr. Scott Coughlin of Oregon, Ohio as Utility Worker 3 at the Water Treatment Plant in the Department of Public Service to be placed on classification 7, step 5 of the seasonal pay scale for this position, which is an hourly rate of $24 per hour to be effective Tuesday, February 10th of 2026. Council.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Council. is there a
Mr.
motion?
President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move to concur with the mayor in the appointment of Mr. Scott Coughlin as presented.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Pauloff. Thank you, Ms. Pauloff. Council concurs. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the appointment is accepted.
Thank you, council. And last one here is just a correction from the fire department. I guess I'll just read it, make it easy enough. But August 26, 2024, council appointed Nicholas Wismer, firefighter 2, paramedic in step 3 of the firefighter 2 pay scale with an effective date of September 9, 2024. He was hired as a first lateral transfer into the Oregon Fire and Rescue Department, bringing 3 full years of service, and was inadvertently placed at step 3 instead of step 4 when appointed. This oversight has currently been recognized, and in accordance with IAFF Local 4093, Oregon Professional Firefighters Contract, Chief O'Brien is requesting to correct this by moving Nicholas Wismer to step 5, since he has now served the city of Oregon for for over a year, and that would be his correct placement. Also requesting back pay to account for the difference in his correct compensation and the payment that he has received retroactive to his effective date of September 9th, 2024 through the effective date of step 5 placement. Council, I'm looking for concurrence on that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President, I do have a question.
Okay.
I see Mr. Roman just stepped away. Do we know what that dollar amount is?
I believe Chief O'Brien, do you have that answer?
Mr. President, Mr. Horniak, I don't have the exact dollar amount, but it's going to be essentially when step 3 that he was originally placed in is around the, it's a difference between step 3 and step 4 is about $7,000 for that. But depends on how much, the reason why I don't have that exact number is because I would take into consideration I don't know how many hours overtime and things that he had throughout that year, for that first year.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Barring anybody else's questions, I would concur with the mayor on making the adjustment as presented.
Okay.
Second.
Second, a motion made by Mr. Horniak, second by Mrs. Paula. Thank you. Council, are there any objections? Hearing none, it's accepted as presented. Thank you.
Thank you, council. And just finally, I just would like to take a moment to recognize Judge Gonzalez, Alfonso Jess Gonzalez. I did get to know him a few years back, about 5 years back or so, through a campaign as well when he was running, and he was quite a gentleman, quite a man. I have a lot of respect for him, and we lost a good one, but heaven has definitely gained an angel with him. So if we could just maybe just take a moment just in his honor. Thank you. And that concludes my report.
Okay, we'll move on to reports. Mr. Paul Roman.
No report, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roman. Ms. Pfeiffer.
No report, Mr.
Okay,
President.
thank you, Ms. Pfeiffer. Mr. Schultz.
No report, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Schultz. Mr. Horniak.
No report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Mrs. Pawlov.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to set a safety committee meeting for Monday, March 23rd, 6 PM, to discuss the fire department yearly report.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Pawlov.
That's it.
All right, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yes, Monday, March 23rd.
Okay, Mr. Wallenczak.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Wallenczak. Mrs. Ackerman.
Mr. President, nothing for my standing committee. I feel sick to my stomach. It is always easier to say yes and please people. I do not take this lightly. Any decision that I make, I'm sorry, big girls don't cry, but I have really agonized this since the initial conception of the project. I look back and we could be looking at a battery plant if people had their way. We could be looking at a chemical plant, people had their way. We could have had Worthington Steel once upon a time, people had their way. We could have had some really big greenhouses that were heated by our natural gas supply. I don't even know what happened to that project. That would have been a good one. I do not believe this is a be-all, end-all for anything happening. It is not the death of data centers for Oregon. Had there been transparency, had there been honesty, had there been people were going to keep their word to what they said that they would do when they started the project that I voted yes for and yes for. And now when, things come together and I want the schools to get the money, and I do believe I want the unions to get to build things. I truly, with my whole heart, believe that this isn't the death of something getting built in Oregon. Every time we have said no to some of these things, something safer, healthier, better has come along for us. Maybe I'm a hopeful idiot, but more data centers. I mean, I don't even believe that this will kill this data center because they're just going to have to be more competitive. I mean, based on the criteria that gets set down by the state. I've had too many people tell me we're selling ourselves too short. We don't have guardrails in place. I do, this isn't mean, yeah, I'm totally against this. I've said yes, but when I get lied to about load studies, or someone says, we won't touch that, and now, oh, by the way, we're just gonna use mitigation credits, and, sorry, tough, When people ask me to vote on something, and after they have maliciously kept me out of being informed, what do they expect me to do? Do they think they're gonna just, bully me? I don't take to it. I don't take to it. And I do believe that there is something that either capacity will follow through and we'll have more, we'll have a little more skin in it and more say, and they won't take us for granted. Or something in advanced manufacturing will come up. There's quite a huge array of jobs that are advanced manufacturing. It isn't just a data center. So I think that's very nerve-wracking. But I just want everyone to know, I don't like to let people down. I don't take my votes lightly. I think I've taken years off my life worrying about this shit, literally. I'm sorry, but I really, I got a call from Mr. Turner when I was on vacation. He made me aware of what was going on and what the changes would be. And I don't believe, this isn't gonna end. We have the resources there. It's a very good site, like Mr. Roman said, with the infrastructure. I think that we are going to see other opportunities. I truly believe that. I through the battery center, through all of the polluting things that the previous administration was putting forward that didn't come to fruition. It's always been something better, safer, more advanced, and I'm hopeful. So I do ask that everyone try to be understanding. This is not a decision I have taken lightly in any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, Mr. Gibbs.
Well, Mr. President, I concur with a lot of what she said. But I would like to say that Oregon is being tested. Oregon is being tested. And those of you that are of faith, keep praying, because we need a lot of prayer to get us through this. And I have something here. We get these bulletins. It's from the Ohio Municipal League, okay? This is the legislative bulletin. And I just thought this was noteworthy because I didn't know this was going on. The Ohio Department of Taxation said that about 10% of the $33.2 million it distributed this month from the host community cannabis fund was sent to the wrong recipients. The department is working with the impacted communities to address these errors. People, we gotta stay on top of things. I mean, our country has a hole in the roof, okay? And we're still buying new furniture. We gotta fix the roof first, okay? That's all I got to say.
Ms. Ackerman, Josette pointed something out. Go ahead.
In all my distraction of everything, I just wanted to mention the Oregon Police Blood Drive. That's February 11th from 8 to 2. And Chief, do you have any spots open yet? I signed up for Power Red, and there are several for Power Red, so anybody would consider that donation. Takes a little bit longer, and you don't give as frequently, but they can take a lot more from you and safely and everything. But I can leave this up here if anybody, but you can go through the Red Cross if you give normally. And I know there's a O plus shortage too, which unfortunately I'm O plus, so guess what? I get to give more blood. But this, just please keep it in mind. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Ackerman, Mr. Gibbs. I have nothing from my standing committee. I'd just like to thank all the people that attended tonight. Good turnout. Thanks for hanging in. I know it was a long meeting. Other than that, that's all I have, and I appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you. Council, no further, oh, I'm sorry. My report, this is new to me. Nick, go ahead. Do you have something?
No, I was just gonna remind you that we need to set these hearings for the agricultural district.
Okay. Thanks. She let me know too.
Okay, we'll be here another 20 minutes.
It's past my bedtime. No, I'm kidding. Okay, council, there's some ag readings I need to read off. There's 4 of them. Okay. Council, we need to set 3 public hearings for Monday, February 23rd. Okay, it'll be 4, I'm sorry, not 3, 4. February 23rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. The first one's a renewal application for Agriculture District for Alice Jean Dominic for 30.15 acres located at 3814 Brown Road. The second one is a renewal application for an agriculture district for William J. Myers, trustee of the Myers Land Holding Trust for 20 acres located at 866 North Stadium Road, 14.91 acres located at 5415 Cedar Point Road, 5 acres located at 820 North Stadium Road R, 16.649 acres located at 5334 Corduroy Road, 20 acres located at 5306 Cedar Point Road, 5 acres located at 820 North Stadium Road R, 15.1 acres located at 6015 Corduroy Road R, 81.141 acres located at 1501 South Wheeling Street, 38 acres located at 6439 Corduroy Road, 43.7910 acres located at Zero Wind Road, 15 acres located at 5412 Cedar Point Road, 10 acres located at 5551 Corduroy Road R, 14.91 acres located at 5443 Cedar Point Road, 18.5 acres located at 5360 Cedar Point Road, 15 acres located at 5345 Cedar Point Road, 15 acres located at 5365 Cedar Point Road, 23.29 acres located at 0 North Stadium Road, 16.403 acres located at 0 North Wind Road, 5 acres located at 5420 Cedar Point Road, 31 acres located at 5425 Corduroy Road, 12 acres located at 6118 Cedar Point Road, 18.653 acres located at 0 Corduroy Road, 10 acres located at 6261 Corduroy Road, 10 acres located at 1052 North Norden Road, 10 acres located at 6752 Cedar Point Road, 80 acres located at 6310 Cedar Point Road. That was number 2. Number 3 is a lot shorter, trust me, is a renewal application for agriculture district for the city of Oregon for 56.27 acres located at 5518 Road, Seaman Road, I'm sorry. A renewal this is number 4, the final. A renewal application for agriculture district for Kevin M. and Kathy S. Fox at 19 acres located at 1340 North Wind Road, 4.743 acres located at 150 North Lallendorf Road, 24.38 acres located at 0 Corduroy Road, 40.279 acres located at 805 North Stadium Road, 20 acres located at 5255 Cedar Point Road, and 28 acres located at 5701 Cedar Point Road. That's it, and that's the end of the acreage. There's no further business before council. I seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, motion made by Ms. Polliff. Is there a second? Okay, seconded by Mr. Gibbs. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.